Namaste. I'm Jill Loftus of New at Astrology, and welcome to my garden. I'd like to take you on a little tour, catch you up on what's going on here in August of 2022, and also tell you the 8 things that I've learned from this year's garden. So let's go on a little walk together, shall we? So the first thing that this year's garden has taught me is about disappointment. Last year it was about invaders and deer, and this year it's been about invaders too, but these invaders have been more of the bug variety. I've had quite the infestation of June bugs, as they call them around here. And then I've also had some other things like this beautiful apple tree. Now it has rust, and it also was attacked by the predator, but I didn't get any apples, not a single apple, even though I got some last year. And I'll show you this elderberry. I just had to cut her way back because you would not believe this. A bear got into my garden. It got one of the gates down and got in here and was climbing, I guess, the elderberry to get at the berries, and broke off a lot of the limbs. And then we found it when it was over here eating from this apple tree, which does have a few apples. My other disappointments have been the garlic. The garlic did not do well this year, and part of that's because I did several varieties. And another kind of quirky little thing, I am always just throwing things in the garden. I'm always like, yeah, just stick this here. Let's put these seeds here. Let's see what happens. And so this year, I got smart. At least I thought I got smart. And I bought these little tags, and I got them so they were stained, and I wrote on them in Sharpie, and I can't read that. So I have no idea what varieties I have. Another thing is, you'll see there's a big hole here. There's some holes in the garden here. I have had the worst squash bug infestation this year. And part of that is because I was traveling and I didn't get on it right away. But oh my goodness, there they are. Look at those suckers. Ugh. Anyways, my peace-loving heart goes bananas when I see them. And I'll be back shortly with gloves to crush them. The second thing I've learned this year from my garden is that things really like to choose where they're planted. Check out these amaranths. They're self-seeded. You know, I found this. I don't even know what these are, but aren't they pretty, these pink flowers? The butterflies and the bees, they just love them. And I found just like a cheesy old little packet of Virginia wildflowers. So go figure, right? Many of the sunflowers that you see here all picked their own destination. I had saved a bunch of heads of the seeds. That's my laundry up there, don't mind that. And don't you know, some kind of critter, mouse, birds, you name it, got in the greenhouse and distributed the seeds for me. I'm sure the birds did too. But like, look at this mushroom. I sure wish I knew if I could eat this. I don't feel brave enough. Any of you shroom experts out there, let me know, man. Look at this thing. Sure looks like chicken of the woods, but I don't know. Another thing is that a lot of these tomatoes, self-seeded, and they're always just such a blessing, right? But that's the other thing, is that sometimes when you plant seeds, you don't know what's going to come up. I planted this Tulsi basil, and it was just a free packet that I got, and oh my gosh, it's so incredible. It's so fragrant. The bees love it. I've been having marvelous, you know, a great amount of what am I looking for? Germination, like really amazing. The other thing I learned from the garden, number 3, is the timing is everything. Check out this stand of kale. I love this kale. If you're local and you want some seeds, I would be so happy to share. I did write down, at least in my notebook, which I will continue to do now instead of putting stakes, the variety. I planted this last October. We ate on it all winter, and here it is still growing. And it's kale, but that doesn't have like these crazy leathery leaves, so you can eat it all season. And it is self-seeding everywhere, as you see. It is choosing to grow here in the pathway, so I will let her do that. All right. Along with the timing is everything comes the lesson that, you know, the garden doesn't wait. And we had to travel, wanted to travel, happy to travel, lucky to travel this summer. But boy, I had to, I ended up getting 5 different people to help keep up with my garden, because I knew if I came home and everything was dead, I was going to be so sad. So, that's something to pay attention to too, you know? Number 4, I learned that, once again, you have to really, if you're gonna plant seeds, you have to take the time to tend to them. And I've been feeling very pressed, very responsible for all these green growing things. And it's felt like a bit of pressure. I mean, I really expanded the garden this year. I'm really happy that I expanded the garden. But man, I just wake up every day feeling like I can't catch up. The next lesson I learned from the garden is I'm hella glad there are professionals that do this, because like I've planted so many potatoes and I harvested 2 buckets of them, and I think I planted 4 potatoes and got 7. Hilarious, right? Oh well. You know, it's just one of those things. Sometimes you don't get what you planned, and you know, sometimes that's a good bit of luck and sometimes it's not. So I am in deep gratitude at every meal for professional farmers. The next lesson that I learned from the garden is that soil preparation is everything. See this unbelievable stand of asparagus. I have asparagus down in the other garden that I did not prep the bed. And it's like 2 different things. They're 2 different creatures. I got double the production out of this. And so I learned, once again, that working on the front end and preparing, even though it's not sexy, is probably the most important part. And then finally, my last lesson of the garden is just like life. I planted a lot of things for me and a lot of things that I like. A redonkulous amount of tomatoes, squash for squash blossoms. But I also have that elderberry for me, but also for the birds. I let all these, I've been trying to call in these milkweed for years, and finally the milkweed have arrived. No monarchs though, very sad. But I realized that you can't do anything just for you, right? I can't do anything without the pollinators. I can't do anything without, you know, the rain, without the sun. So it's never just about me. It's bigger and more important than that. And the final lesson of the garden is that it is worth taking the time to devote your attention to things you find beautiful and fulfilling, even if they're not the most productive, sensible thing in the world. Just beauty is a reason enough to do something, and an important reason to do anything, really. All right, beautiful friends. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this lovely time in the garden. I've enjoyed sharing it with you. Namaste.